For the second Big Brother player debates, we have Frankie Grande from BB16 going up against Tommy Bracco from BB21. Both of these players had flamboyant personalities, they were known for their social games, and finishing in 5th place in their seasons. So who is better between these two? Let's break it down. Starting with the social game, both of these players were pretty well connected throughout the entire house. They had a lot of connections and bonds, they were in alliances, and everyone throughout the entire game pretty much trusted them. So socially, both Frankie and Tommy were in good positions. The biggest difference is that Frankie at one point had the entire house turned on him. Yes, he was able to recover and get back in a good social position, but Tommy was never on the outs socially. He never did anything to damage his social game. He was always fluently doing well socially. Where Frankie at one point did have the social hiccup. So when it comes to social game, the edge goes to Tommy. Now we go into the strategy. Neither of these players were really strategic oriented. They both relied on their social games, and they weren't the best strategists in their season. The biggest difference is that Frankie, while he wasn't the best strategist, he got outplayed by Derek and Cody. Tommy, on the other hand, gets completely outplayed by Mickey at the final 5. Mickey, while he is a solid strategic player, he's not at the level of Derek and Cody. So Frankie was going up against better strategists, and I think Frankie had more of an idea of what he had to do to get the big threats out. He didn't always act on it, but he at least kind of understood that plan. Where Tommy didn't necessarily use his social bonds to get certain people out of the game. Frankie would at least try to make more moves, so strategically, the edge goes to Frankie. So now it's at 1-1 in the categories. The final area comes down to the other factors. This component relies on competitions, it relies on luck-based, and it just relies on the overall games both of these players played. And when you look at BB21 and BB16, BB21, Tommy pretty much reached his peak as a player, where he was really good socially, he gets outplayed strategically, and he doesn't necessarily win the last game comps. Frankie, on the other hand, gets completely screwed by a twist. He won the Final 5 HOH and the Final 5 Veto. So Frankie was supposed to be in the Final 4, and who knows if he ends up winning from the Final 4 from there on. Because if Frankie gets to the end, he could possibly win. Because Frankie got screwed over by a twist, we do have to take that in consideration between both players. Frankie, we didn't see what he could do in his season, as there was a chance he could have won. Tommy reached his ceiling. So therefore, Frankie gets the nod when it comes to other factors. So there you have it. Frankie is a better strategist, and there was a little more luck against his game. Where I think if you play it more often, Frankie would be consistently better at the end game than Tommy would be. So therefore, the winner is Frankie.